Curious about how men go from being your boyfriend to becoming a lifelong partner? Want to know how to align your paths so marriage not only makes sense, but has a stronger chance at long-lasting success? We're about to explore the case study of my own marriage right now. Hey everybody, I'm dating and relationship coach Ryan Patrick. Today, we're talking about all things marriage. Now, I'm going to talk briefly about my own perspective of my journey with Brittany over the last 8 years and how we've gotten to the place we are right now. Then I'm going to invite Brittany on here so you guys can meet her and we can have a little question and answer session together. Then finally, we're going to round everything out with some takeaway tips that you guys can use with your men or your future men to get you guys aligned and primed to have fulfilling marriages that have a chance at lasting success. The first thing I want to say is that the one thing that I have learned is that it's supposed to be easy with your partner. If you feel like you're just working too hard or they're working too hard and things are just too against the grain, if you will, it's possible that person's just not the right fit. After I proposed to Brittany, I used to have friends come up to me and ask me, how did you know Brittany was the one? It was one of the simplest decisions, one of the simplest questions I ever answered, I think ever. And mainly, I think the reason for that is that where we were in our lives at that point, we were both very actively working on ourselves, and we made some decisions that we'll get to later on where we kind of focused that work in doing it together. And now that we're shooting this video, just thinking back, I wasn't even particularly nervous when I asked her, which is a little strange, I guess, but it was almost as if we had already done this before. And it's one of the things that I smile about when I think about it because it really wasn't hard. It wasn't hard at all. I don't know, maybe that sounds weird, but I'm really curious about other married couples out there with your husbands. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'm actually really curious about that. If it just felt like, of course it's this person, that's the one. Honestly, guys, all you married ladies, definitely let me know in the comments about that particular point. Was it easy? Was it natural when you were asked? All right, so I think I've said enough for now. Let me go get Brittany, let me bring her out here, and let's ask her some questions about this. I'll be right back. Are you nervous?
Maybe. This is not my jam at all.
When did your feelings shift for me when you knew that you wanted to marry me?
I think it was more of when we first started dating for like that hot minute when we were just a fling essentially. I didn't want to lose you as a friend. Like we really were starting to get to know each other, and I had a relationship in the past that I really was sad when just the friendship went away after it kind of became romantic, so I didn't want to repeat that. And when we first started out, we were just really getting to know each other and having these deep conversations, so that was kind of like I didn't want to lose that friendship.
Okay, so how different is your outlook back then to what being married means to you now?
I think back then it was very individual, and just even doing like the year or the decade in review thing at the beginning of the year, looking at where I was then, it was very much what do I want, what am I working towards. But then once Ryan and I got together, then we started to become a unit, and the I became a we. So everything, like we are just lock and step of knowing what we're working towards versus what do I just want versus what does he just want. So everything is in sync.
What are some mindsets you feel that would be totally counterproductive if you're thinking about getting into a marriage with someone?
Just having that like cliche checklist of, well, once we're married, then that means you're gonna have to do this and then I'm gonna have to do that, and there's no communication. It's just an assumption, because I feel that all the movies that we watched growing up, and like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and The Notebook, like as a female, like there's kind of these just cliches that you think are gonna happen, but if you find the right person, then it's just kind of like you're having fun, and naturally, if you have good communication, then you know what roles fit your personalities.
When we started to get more serious and we decided that personal development was kind of a bigger thing for both of us, kind of describe that, kind of what that path looked like.
I think that was the first time where we really, our eyes were open to this whole different mentality, because typically the whole like you go to college, you get a degree, you get a career job, and then like you get married, you have kids, buy the house, all of that. Like going to see Tony Robbins and just kind of opening our eyes to like dreaming bigger and like what do we want out of life. Like I think that really helped us align on our vision for what we wanted to get out of life, and not just to have that same like watch, rinse, repeat mentality of just repeating the same week over and over, but what all the years just fly by and you're stuck at a 9 to 5, and like really working towards something. Like that was kind of the bigger picture vision.
What do you think is going to be our biggest challenge in the future? Do you think we have the tools to deal with it, or do you think those are tools that we still have yet to obtain?
Okay, so I think our biggest challenge in the future will be just staying on course with what we're working towards, and just knowing like this big vision is in the distance, and then keeping on working towards it and not letting short-term goals get in the way, or like just shiny objects of like, ooh, look at this. And then I think just the like planning of having children, and what would that look like in our lives, and just how we want to raise them. And we've had all those great conversations of what we envision our family life being like, and I think just really setting traditions and really sticking with them. So I think we're on a good path.
Do you have any remaining thoughts that you want to offer to the group about marriage, about men, about personal development, anything like that?
So I was the chronic single girl out of all my friends, and I focused on career and was very much the when is this gonna happen to me type of girl growing up. And ironically, the relationship before I met Ryan, I was like, okay, this is like, we're good. And then like a lot of things just were off in terms of like what I was looking for in a future, and then what the guy was looking for, and then just our lifestyles were very different. So once that relationship ended, I was like, I'm gonna focus 100% on me right now and career. And then all of a sudden, some guy named Ryan Patrick rolled into my life. And like, although we were dating for a little bit before, but once we started like getting to know each other as friends, and just valuing that foundation of having this person that you can have late night conversations with that just keep on going into these deep levels of discussion, like that was so rare in my life at that time. And I think just because I wasn't hunting for someone in my life, that it was very like the universe was like, here, let me part the sea for you and have you meet this great guy. But I wasn't actively in the I'm gonna go on dates and go find him mentality, which I feel you can get trapped in sometimes. Yeah, I think just knowing what I was looking for and kind of like how I envision my life definitely helped like open that door per se.
A big thank you to Brittney. She's such a good sport, and we really appreciate your input. So thank you for coming on today. So now that we've touched on some really important themes, let's just tie everything nicely together and talk about the top 4 takeaways of how to make your boyfriend your husband. The first takeaway is make personal development your common theme. Now for us, Tony Robbins worked wonders. His online programs like 30-Day Personal Power or Ultimate Edge. And of course, there's nothing like a live seminar with Tony Robbins like Unleash the Power Within, which is the program we attended. And for those of you who are interested, I'll go ahead and link to those below for you. Honestly, if you're with a guy right now and you guys just want to jump to the next level of your lives together, just go. Save up your money and go. Trust me, it'll be one of the best things you ever do for yourself. Just make sure whatever you do, whether it's Tony or it's somebody else, just make mental health and personal development the two bedrocks of your life, and make those like the two top things for both of you, and just strive and drive towards them. Really, if you keep those two things in the forefront of your relationship, you're always gonna have room to grow. The growth will never stop. The second takeaway is practice before you make it official. I'll be honest, not too much changes after you get married, and I think that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Your status change shouldn't upend your relationship. That would be silly. One thing I might recommend, which is something that Brittney and I both did, is actually how we met each other, was throw a large event together and share in the planning of it 50-50 to get you guys ready for your wedding. And it's something where you guys have to come together. You have to make some really hard decisions about how many guests you want there, where it's gonna be, what your budget's gonna be. So that's what I mean by practice before you make it official. You guys wanna be having conversations about finances. What is it gonna look like when you get married? Are you guys gonna have a joint bank account? Or are you guys gonna, keep your bank accounts separate? These are important things to not only think about, but to actually have a conversation about. The third takeaway is have all the big questions answered. Just like finances, know if you guys wanna have kids or not. If so, how many are you gonna have? If you can't have kids, would you adopt kids? Also, where do you guys see yourselves living? Are you gonna be in the big city? Are you gonna be in suburbia? Are you gonna be out in the forest somewhere? Where is that exactly? If you guys want a big wedding, how are you gonna pay for it? Also, where is it gonna be? These are the types of questions that can really affect your lives down the road. It's really smart to get the answers for them ahead of time. The fourth takeaway is don't think, just know. If you're sitting there just racking your brain, debating whether he's the one or not, then the timing is either not right for you guys right now, or he is just the wrong one for you. Don't think, just know. Remember, it's supposed to be easy, meaning that it should feel real natural, the idea of you guys being married. If you feel yourself forcing the issue in your mind, take a step back. When the time is right, him being the one will become more obvious to you in a very natural way. Guys, great news. Our next big YouTube Live is gonna be this coming Saturday, February 15th at 9 a.m. Los Angeles time. So if you missed the last one, hopefully you'll be able to make this one with our big group. We'll keep the topic of discussion open, so guys, just make sure you come with all of your questions. We'll run for about an hour or so. So mark your calendars for later this week, Saturday, February 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific time or Los Angeles time. As always, if you like this video, please give it a like below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.